Hi, I'm Dr. Rajani. Thanks for joining me today. I'm answering the question that you have asked about home galvanic devices. A lot of people use them and they're popular, but people are kind of scared. Are they going to get rid of my filler? Will they melt my fat? Will they make my Botox not work as long as it could? And those are actually great questions that I'm going to answer. If you like these videos, remember, click like. In the comments, tell me you like at-home devices. I'll give you more of these. I reviewed the LED masks just about a week ago, and a lot of people ask about these galvanics as well as with the masks. So with facial filler, a lot of people who use these devices either use them because they don't want to do filler, but most people graduate to do filler or Botox along the way. And what will the effect be? Understand like galvanic's mechanism. I think it's very important to understand how they work. And the idea is one of four ways. One is increasing the ATP in the cells, the energy, so that makes the cell more youthful and vigorous. Number two, increasing fibroblast formation that I show you with my biostimulator injections. You can look at those to see how those work. Number three, to take skincare products like hyaluronic acid or vitamin C, drive them deeper into the tissue so that they work better. And number four is muscle stimulation. But there's not a lot of data on galvanics. My opinion, I actually like them. I think there's a lot of anecdotal evidence. I think a lot of you people at home, and I do want to know in the comments below what you're using and do you like it. And in the links below, in the more info section below this video, you can click on there, and on my store, I have the one that I like the most. And I've been involved with galvanics for about 15 years. In fact, had a couple of my own that I used with my patients and even sold. So I'm well versed in them, and they have an electrical charge. They work by electrical charge. So people say, hey, can they get rid of my filler? We'll tackle filler first. It's important to know before your filler leaves the manufacturer, real product at least, is autoclaved. It's moist heating autoclaved. And that means that it's heated to temperatures often above 100 degrees C or Celsius. The body runs at about 37, 38 for reference. Boiling point's around 100 degrees, so you can see very hot. Galvanics don't produce much heat at all. Certainly they're not going to get you up to the 43 degrees, which is where you denature collagen, that I did my video on building collagen naturally. That's 43 degrees Celsius is where we want to get your home radio frequency and high frequency ultrasounds to get to the temperature to where you can build more collagen by way of fibroblasts. That's not how galvanics work or are purported to work. So they do not melt your filler. You would have to have much hotter temperatures. And in fact, RF microneedling, watch my video on hottest treatment of 2021, you inject needles, they heat up, and you produce collagen and fibroblasts. That temperature gets to about 67 degrees, between 60 and 70 degrees, depending on the manufacturer. Very hot. Quite painful if you don't use the right anesthetic, but that won't even dissolve your filler. The one caveat I want you to know about is that if there's suction involved or rolling, you could allow the filler then to migrate. So it won't melt, but vigorous massage can allow the filler to migrate, which it does naturally anyway. Watch my video if you want to know about filler migration. It's entitled The Lip Filling Craze, and I talk about filler migration there. Now, on to Botox. Great question, because as I said, galvanics are thought to work through myomodulation and modulation or changing the way the muscles move in the face, which of course is what Botox does. It stops the muscle movement. That's one of the things it does. So I haven't had Botox here maybe 8 months. You can see I have a strong frown. But that's what it's supposed to do. If I put Botox here, I'd go, and nothing would move. So it's supposed to do that. If you use a galvanic, would that stop it? Well, when we inject Botox, Dysport, Xeomin, Jeuveau, any real neuromodulator, it's bound to proteins except for Xeomin. Xeomin's the one that's not bound to proteins, so it's thought that you don't get resistance, Xeomin particularly, and you can get it to the others because they have proteins. I have a whole video on Botox resistance and why it doesn't work. but it binds the receptor in the body in about an hour and a half. It does most of its work in an hour and a half. So the galvanics, there's no real data on this, but I have never seen, and I do not believe that they're going to change the duration of neuromodulator. Again, they don't work that way, and how Botox-like products work is they stop the release of acetylcholine at the neuromuscular junction. So the muscle communicates with the nerve, we say contract, the nerve goes boom, they communicate, and then the muscle does not contract, and that's the end muscle, which is, in this case, my glabella. So that binding of that receptor occurs within hours. Now, again, I'm going to tell you another caveat here, is that you should not increase blood flow to where the injections were done. I say for about 4 hours. Not a lot of good studies on this, but we noticed back in the early 2000s that some people didn't get as good a response as others. And people would go and they'd exercise, they'd increase blood flow. And one of the theories was that they would wash out the Botox product if they exercise, or they increase blood flow in any way to that area too quickly. So by using a galvanic immediately after your treatment, you can increase blood flow. It's one of the ways facial massage and galvanics are even thought to work. I guess that would be the fifth way, but they don't talk about it because it's the massage part of what you're doing. It's not actually the electrical movement of electrons in the skin that's creating that use. So the massage is not something the company's going to say, hey, just the massage alone without the electrical stimulation works. Why would you buy the device for $400? So I like personally galvanics. If you want me to review them, I'm happy to do so. But I am a fan. A lot of the evidence is anecdotal. There's no good studies for me to present to you on the 4 mechanisms of how people think they work. They do not melt your fillers. The caveat is the massage. They will not, in my opinion, make your Botox last any less. But I wouldn't do it safely within 24 hours is a nice rule of thumb. I put a complete playlist up here for all the things you can do at home to keep your skin and body beautiful, healthy, and vibrant. Please subscribe to this channel.